Chase is a walking contradiction. A society heiress drifted over with a glass of red, angling to clink. He didn't even lift his lashes. We're not friends. Don't block my way. I, socially terrified, had mistaken him for a 20 grand escort. Determined not to waste the money, I swallowed hard and ordered him to pour me water. Chase slowly rolled free a cuff link, pure mischief in his eyes. Only water? Add me on WhatsApp and come to my place later. Let me show your boss some services worth more than 20 grand. His engagement party was obscene. I pictured a cozy dinner with a handful of friends. Instead, Stella's fiancé, new money pyromaniac that he is, had rented the entire Avalon private club and invited half the city. For someone with acute social anxiety, the room was a firing squad. Oh, come on, Nina, stop looking like you're headed to the guillotine. Half the trust fund hotties on the East Coast are begging for invites I didn't give them. Stella is your classic rich girl, cash rich, impulse rich, diplomacy poor. Her circle is private jet level, all limbo exhaust and champagne mist. Me? I'm a freelance conservator at the Eastbrook, happiest alone with a 2,000-year-old bronze and a scalpel, light years away from this glitter. Surrounded by strangers trading air kisses and IPO gossip, I tried retreat. Stella, maybe I should bail? A Han Dynasty mirror is waiting for rust removal at 8 a.m. No. Absolutely not. She trapped my arm in a deathlock. If you leave, who'll keep me sane? And to protect your precious phobia, I hired the city's top security team. She jerked her chin toward the corner of the VIP salon. See those guys? All 6'2", black suits, black Ray-Bans, zero sense of humor. Anyone annoys you, they get yeeted out the door. Sweetie, go park yourself on the main sofa. I've got to greet Vance royalty. Rumor is Chase is actually showing tonight, and I need to look useful. Fine. Out-argued, I shrank into the assigned corner. Stella swept out, then spun back, wiggling her brows. Oh, to spice things up I booked extra entertainment, premium escort package. Ice-cold celibate vibe, 20 grand appearance fee, tips not included. He should arrive any second. Do me a favor, inspect the goods, tell me if he's worth it. I gave a hopeless nod, thinking, 20 grand to stand there, rich people math escapes me. Barely 2 minutes later the carved double doors swung open. I glanced up, and forgot how to breathe. The man was unfair, chiseled features, shoulders carved by guilt and money, a glimpse of cold white collarbone. Every inch screamed, don't come near me. He paused where spotlight met shadow, authority crackling around him like a force field. I marveled inwardly. The service industry has really leveled up. For 20 grand you get a god who could destroy Hollywood simply by arriving. Stella does have an eye. No wonder she wanted a quality check, this was over-deliver. The bodyguard scanned the room, gaze brushing past faces until it landed, cool, detached, on me. Stella's party? Mesmerized by beauty, I bobble-headed. Why yes. He slid one hand into a pocket and aimed for the throne-like single sofa at the head of the room, like he owned it. Hey, wait! Social reflexes screamed, I blurted before thinking. He paused, half-turned, ink-dark eyes narrowing. Problem? That voice, low, rich, string-bass vibrato, tickled my ear bones. Hoping to save him from unemployment, I patted the tiny round stool beside me. Security staff usually sit here, not there. Trust me, when the princes arrive you'll get complained about, and docked pay. I whispered conspiratorially, it's tough out there, protect that 20 grand paycheck. His brows arched in slow amusement. For 3 whole seconds he studied me from his 6-foot perch, then the corner of his mouth hooked upward. All right. Surprisingly docile, he unfolded that long frame onto the puny stool. Knees jutted, polished shoes stretched half a yard. Leaning back, he fished out a cigarette, caught my eye, and tucked it away again. Jawline sharp enough to slice a cigar, presence thick enough to billow like smoke. So this is the rumored Ice Prince package. Wow, they even train him not to expose clients to secondhand smoke. But I'm still thirsty. I tugged the immaculate cuff. Could I have some water? He glanced at my fingers on the sapphire cuff link, then at my face, unreadable. Please, I added, trying for harmless. Seconds ticked. Finally he leaned in, cedar and frost rolled off him. Want me to feed it to you too? He drawled, equal parts mock and yawn. I flushed crimson. No, just hand it over. I'm not the kind of girl who buys eye candy then demands bottle service from his mouth. His eyes flickered, curious, predatory, then he snorted, grabbed an Evian, cracked the cap, and thumped it on the table. You enjoy ordering people around. Tapping long fingers on his knee, he asked, Who are you to Stella? Best friend. Name? Nina. I wondered, does an escort need a background check for client profiling nowadays? She didn't tell you what I do? She did. Tell me. Staring at the face that launched 1,000 invoices, I answered, She said you were a escort never left my mouth. The doors crashed open. Stella glided in, entourage of trust fund peacocks honking laughter. Spotting us, her expression went full Technicolor meltdown. A shriek shredded the air, Chase. I waited at the gate, why'd you use the staff in trance? Silence detonated. My bodyguard rose, unhurried, smoothing the cuff I'd wrinkled. A smile, wicked, lazy, cut across his face. Main door was loud, I ducked in here for quiet. Ended up getting interviewed by your friend, amusing. I swiveled, brain buffering between Stella's dropped jaw and the man who had just poured my water. Somewhere inside my skull, the last rational neuron snapped. I stayed frozen with my neck twisted at an unnatural angle until it gave a tiny audible crack. Through that crooked frame I saw them, the trust fund princes who usually walk around with their chins pointed at the ceiling were suddenly meek as quails, one guy actually clapping a mortified hand over his mouth because he'd barked Brother Chase, too loudly. And the man I just shoved onto a bar stool, the one I'd assumed would bend his spine for 20 grand, rose from the seat beside me with languid grace. As he straightened, the pressure that had been crouched in the corner unfurled like a tide and filled the entire VIP salon. He didn't head straight for the group, instead he angled his chin down a fraction and pinned me with a half smile. Cat got your tongue? His voice was low, edged with lazy amusement, and in the tomb-quiet room it cracked like thunder. You talked plenty during the interview. Me, help. If the floor opened up, I'd dive in and weld the hatch shut behind me. I parted my lips, but my throat felt as if I'd swallowed a pound of sand, even the sound that escaped was trembling. JJ, Chase lifted one brow, politely waiting for the rest. My brain emptied. Survival instinct clocked out and took the next flight out of town, so my mouth freelanced. Janitor? A collective, razor-sharp inhale sliced through the room. Stella sprinted over and slapped a hand across my mouth, her eyes wide with horror, as if I'd just ordered a nuclear warhead instead of a job title. Chase, don't mind her. She's buzzed. Yup, sloppy drunk and running her mouth. Chase huffed out a soft laugh. His gaze flicked past Stella and landed on my bloodless face again, no anger, just that wicked sparkle deepening. Drunk? His eyes slid to the Evian bottle in front of me, the one whose seal I'd cracked exactly once. Water does that to you? Lightweight indeed. He stretched his long legs and strode to the seat-position armchair. Threading through the petrified airs, he tossed over his shoulder without breaking stride. Why are you all still standing? Sit. They dropped like marionettes whose strings had been cut, yet the carnival buzz of earlier had turned funereal. Chase reclined in the main seat, lounging with regal ease. Someone immediately offered cigarettes and a lighter. He tilted his head, inhaled, and a skein of pale smoke veiled the sharpest edges of his face. Through the drifting haze I caught his glance flicking, casually, deliberately, toward my corner again. I flinched so hard I nearly folded in half, trying to burrow between sofa cushions. The next 30 minutes were a public execution. Glasses clinked, toasts flew, money and gossip swapped owners. Two people didn't belong, Chase on his throne, receiving flattery with bored detachment, and me, wedged in the shadows, trying to metabolize myself into air. If I never looked up, embarrassment would never find me, except the heat of being watched stayed glued to my skin, a medieval branding iron. During a lull while servers swapped bottles, Stella finally wriggled free of the social vultures, crept over, and crouched beside me. Her face screamed traitorous glee wrapped in concern. "Spill, babe." Chase kept staring at you and smirking. What the hell happened while I was gone? I clutched her hand like it was the last lifeboat on the Titanic. "Don't ask. I want to die. Tell me everything, now." I sucked in a ragged breath and, voice quivering, whispered the catastrophic farce into her ear, mistaking him for a 20 grand premium escort, planting him on the stool like a naughty schoolboy, ordering the crown prince of the Vance dynasty to fetch me water, and even delivering a pep talk: work hard, no customer complaints. The wider her eyes got, the more her mouth formed a perfect O. By the end she was vibrating, nails digging into her thigh to stifle the giggles bubbling up as kettle shrieks. "Stop laughing," I hissed, half ready to strangle her. "I'm about to wet myself. Should I crawl over and kowtow? Maybe bang my forehead on his shoes?" "Absolutely not." She slapped a hand on my knee to keep me planted, face contorting between laughter and deadly seriousness. "Listen, if you apologize, you're rubbing salt in the wound, reminding His Majesty that in your eyes his face, his aura, is worth exactly 20 grand. And that you treated him like a rental butler. A proud beast like that? He'll either blacklist you or have you taxidermied." Cold sweat beaded along my spine. So what do I do? Play dumb, hard. If you never mention it, he'll think you were flirting, experimenting with avant-garde seduction. One is an insult, the other is just an awkward come on. Pick your poison. Does he hate you, or does he believe you're hitting on him? I swallowed. Pride versus life? No contest. "You're right," I croaked. Stella rubbed my back. "Relax. A titan like Chase handles billion-dollar deals before breakfast. Some random girl's word vomit is white noise. He'll forget it by tomorrow. Promise?" "Promise." "Look, he's already deep in shop talk." I peeked. Chase leaned sideways, listening to some hedge fund air, flame-orange lighter spinning idly between his fingers. Profile carved, distant, untouchable. He really did seem to have forgotten I existed. I exhaled, shoulders sinking into the sofa for the first time all night. But when you think the storm has peaked, the universe volunteers a sequel. Barely 2 minutes later the room hushed again. A floppy-haired rich kid sprang up, radiant with bad ideas. "Drinking's boring. Chase rarely joins us, let's spice it up." "Like what?" "Truth or dare wheel. Whoever the pointer lands on has to play. Chase can be referee, the rest of us are fair game." Cheers exploded. My stomach dropped through the floor. I shrank until my chin nearly met my sternum, mantra on repeat: "Don't see me, don't see me." Fate, cruel comedian, granted the opposite. The gold needle spun in hypnotic circles, lost momentum, wobbled, and parked, perfectly, proudly, on me. Someone thrust a dare card into my shaking hand. Bold black letters blurred then sharpened, add the first man on your right on WhatsApp, and get him to accept. First man on my right, Chase. I clutched my phone, knuckles white, and sneaked a glance. Chase, previously resting his eyes, opened them. What are you looking at? And nothing. I whipped my head forward. A beat passed, I risked another sideways peek. He caught me again. Say it. It's nothing. A low sound rumbled in his throat, half laugh, half growl. My earlobes ignited. On my third furtive look our eyes locked. He'd been waiting, gaze dark and entertained. Landing on my crimson ears, he tapped the table with one finger. If you want my WhatsApp, just ask. The cloak and dagger is cute, but unnecessary. Face, nuclear meltdown. Fumbling, I pulled up my QR code and extended the screen like a surrender flag. Would that be okay? Convenient. Next time, skip the espionage, I appreciate direct. I blinked, confused, but the notification already glowed. Chase is now a contact, mission accomplished, temporary survival ensured. I immediately toggled his chat to do not disturb and enshrined him in my list like a porcelain idol. No messaging, no deleting, just the digital equivalent of lighting incense and praying he stays quiet. The weekend after the engagement party, I went to the museum to put in overtime on an artifact. I was so focused that I left my phone on the workbench, still open to the chat screen. My mentor, an old prankster, noticed the lit screen, picked it up, and squinted. Oh, little Nina, is this your boyfriend? New profile picture? Let me see. Don't, I jerked up, hands caked with mud, but it was too late. His curiosity-driven finger double-tapped my avatar. A gray line popped up in the chat. You nudged yourself and said, "Damn, that's perky." My vision went black, I almost died on the spot. That stupid nudge suffix was a joke I'd changed while fooling around with my childhood friend. I snatched the phone, fumbling to unsend it. WhatsApp nudges can't be unsent. 5 minutes later the zombie account Chase replied with a single punctuation mark. Question mark. Then a second message. Wild, huh? I clutched the phone, near tears. No amount of holy water could clear my name now. I didn't dare answer, I played dead. I simply hoped the busy tycoon would forget. But the following Friday my childhood friend dragged me to a sushi dinner to calm your nerves. I slid open the VIP salon door and came face to face with the man who'd haunted my nightmares, Chase. He was dressed down today, deep gray shirt, sleeves rolled, indolent and expensive. His expression, however, looked like someone owed him $8 million. When I greeted him awkwardly, he only gave a cold grunt. My friend leaned over and hissed in my ear, "He insisted on inviting you, what was I supposed to do?" Suck it up, babe. Throwing your bestie under the bus, so not cool. The food arrived, all premium sashimi and wagyu. I have 2 quirks, I can't eat raw food, and I hate cilantro. The only hot dish, a sukiyaki, was parked directly in front of Chase. Either the server missed it, or the kitchen messed up. The dipping bowl was piled high with cilantro. I didn't dare spin the lazy Susan, so I sneaked my chopsticks out, hoping to swap the contaminated bowl for a clean one. The instant my hand reached forward, I was caught. Chase, cigarette pinched between 2 fingers, paused and pinned me with dark eyes. "What are you doing?" I flinched and blurted the truth, "There's cilantro in that bowl." "I was switching it for you." Chase blinked. His handsome face basically spelled out 4 words in neon, "She totally loves me." He stubbed the cigarette, voice low, "How did you know I hate cilantro?" My friend gasped beside me, "Huh? Chase, you don't eat cilantro?" News to me. Question mark. I blinked, blank. I didn't know. I can't eat cilantro either, I was afraid I'd dip into it by accident. My friend said nothing, and I didn't think much of it. Still, Chase's mood visibly improved. He even plopped 2 slices of beef into my bowl, cool expression, frighteningly gentle action. I ate on tenterhooks. Yap. One weird night. Dinner ended with the usual ritual, everyone had been drinking. My friend was picked up by her fiancé, leaving behind a flashy Aston and a tipsy Chase. My stomach dropped. This remote sushi spot is impossible for cabs, and abandoning the Crown Prince here was out of the question. I edged to the window and clutched the frame. Vance, did you call a driver? No. Then. It's too far out, no driver will come. He lounged in the seat, eyelids half-masked, the rim slightly red, he looked almost pitiful. I have a license. Should I drive you? Chase, who'd merely planned to sit there until sober, stared at me. A flicker of something I couldn't read crossed his eyes, like victory laced with indulgence. All right, chance of a lifetime. Question mark. How did this turn into me begging to chauffeur him? I was only being polite. I'll never understand the rich. I settled him into the passenger seat and buckled him in, then slid behind the wheel. His car is an Aston. First time driving a multi-million-dollar machine, my palms were slick with sweat. Deep breath. Another. Chase tilted his head, chuckled, voice dangerously magnetic. Nina, what are you nervous about? And not nervous. Yeah. You're about to snap the steering column. Vance, where do you live? You didn't do your homework? Blank. What homework? No idea. He laughed again for no reason. 1 quart. The location I posted last time. I scratched my head, embarrassed. So that's why. He had posted it. I'd muted him, so I missed it. I drove him to the mythical penthouse at crawling speed. The alcohol must have hit, he stumbled as he got out. I rushed to steady him. The super rich are chic, no keys needed, the entire house obeys voice commands. I played crutch all the way to the bedroom and dropped him on the bed. Chase looks lean but is pure muscle, dead weight. I was panting. I turned to leave, saw his tie still strangling him red-faced. Oh well. Might as well finish the job. If he suffocated, I'd be liable. I knelt, clumsily loosening the knot. Halfway through, I felt a scorching gaze overhead. I looked up. Chase's eyes were fixed on me, dark and stormy, brewing danger. Done. I exhaled and started to rise. A scalding hand clamped around my wrist. Nina. Such thorough service, no tip? What tip? Before I registered anything, he yanked. I lost balance and crashed onto his granite chest. My nose filled with cedar and faint whiskey. A heartbeat thundered, his, or mine, who knew? I pushed up in panic. Vance, you're drunk. He released me, rolled over, and buried his face in the pillow, voice muffled, yeah, wasted. So why aren't you running? Planning to stay the night? I bolted like I'd been pardoned, grabbed my bag and sprinted. At the door I discovered the smart lock had switched to night secure mode. Outside, rain poured in sheets. No owner's fingerprint, and I dared not wake the drunk ghost for the code. I was trapped. That night, cornered, I crashed in a first-floor guest room, bigger than my entire apartment. Next morning, I stumbled out, half awake, and yelped. Chase sat at the dining table nursing coffee, hair tousled over his forehead. He looked shockingly docile. Seeing me, he set the cup down. Awake? Eat. The table held a spread of still steaming Cantonese dim sum. I balked. This is. Housekeeper made it. Translation: he helicoptered in a Michelin chef at dawn. I sat and inhaled shrimp dumplings. When I tried to leave, he jingled his car keys. I'll drop you at work. No need, I'll Uber. No cars come up here, you want to be late? Full attendance bonus 1, I surrendered. Silence the whole ride. At the museum curb I unclicked my seatbelt. He spoke, I'll take responsibility for last night. Huh? I was honestly lost. What responsibility? Nothing happened. Chase's face darkened. Nina, classic morning after amnesia? I didn't take any pants off. I flamed red. He studied me, then laughed, ruffling my hair. Fine, off you go. I'll pick you up tonight. Don't, the window purred shut, the Aston purred away. I stood in the wind, brain buffering. Inside, colleagues swarmed. Nina, who drove you? I saw that ride in GQ, only 3 in the whole city. I shook my head. Carpool, I lied. They stared like I'd claimed to carpool in a spaceship. Before my seat was warm, Stella ringtoned me, squealing like she'd won Powerball, babe. Chase just asked what color handcuffs, sorry, bracelets, you like. Bracelets for me? Exactly. Never gave a woman anything before, swear to God. I blanked. We're not even friends. Not friends, yet you slept at his place? Not friends, yet he chauffeurs you? Not friends, yet he's fishing for your fave gems? Payback for being designated driver. I gave her a play-by-play. 3 seconds of silence. Trust me, a guy like Chase doesn't let you know the gate code unless he plans to keep you. He wants you because you're clueless, harmless, and you don't want his money. Was that a compliment? That day after work, I didn't wait for Chase. Instead, I received a same-day courier package. I opened it, a delicate pink diamond bracelet. On the card, in bold, forceful handwriting, apology. I scared you last night. I stared at the blinding sparkle and my hands started shaking. How much must this cost? I whipped out my phone and, for the first time, messaged Chase first. Vance, the gift is too expensive. I can't accept it. He replied instantly, don't like pink? It's not about liking it. We're not right for each other, this gift is too suggestive. I thought it over and decided to lay my cards on the table. I'm an ordinary person. I just want a quiet life, I can't play the games rich people play. The other side went silent for a long time. So long I thought he'd blocked me in anger. My phone vibrated. So that's why you keep hiding from me, only nudging me on WhatsApp? Plenty of moves, yet such a scaredy cat? Who's hiding? What moves? That nudge was an accident. I started typing an explanation, but Chase sent a voice note instead. His voice was low, laced with laughter. Fine, if you won't keep it, I'll pick you up tomorrow and you can return it in person. Don't even think about running, you can't. From that day on, Chase's pursuit became blatant. Pure peacock strutting. He dropped the frosty act and infiltrated my life through every crack. New exhibition at the museum? First sponsor, Chase. Working late? The Aston is always idling at the gate. Craving street food? He squats beside me in a bespoke suit, shelling crawfish on the curb. I refuse, he says I'm playing hard to get. I hide, he says we're playing hide and seek. I accidentally sneeze, he claims I must be thinking of him. The ego on this man. Everyone around me lost their minds. Gossip says I'm some legendary fox spirit who's bewitched the Vance crown prince. Only I know how wronged I am. All I want is to restore artifacts in peace. You want this blessing? Take it! After 2 full months, Chase still hadn't won. My childhood friend met me for coffee, practically kneeling for a master class. Ancestress, what spell did you put on Chase? He skips every party now, orbiting you 24/7. I looked innocent. No spell. I keep trying to talk him out of it. I don't buy it. Honestly, we're wrong for each other, different worlds. She rolled her eyes. Look outside. She pointed through the restaurant glass. Chase leaned against the car, bubble tea in hand, checking his watch with a faint frown. The second I glanced over, his face lit up. He lifted the drink and shook it at me. That look, pure melted cheese. Basically a golden retriever waiting for his owner. I sighed and showed her my phone. Chase had just texted, still eating? The tea's getting warm. If you don't come out, I'm coming in, and you'll say I'm domineering again. After reading, she grinned like a pleased auntie. Nina, hand on heart, are you not tempted? I went quiet. Tempted? Of course I am. Who could resist a top-tier hunk who only has eyes for you? But I'm scared. He's the moon in the sky, I'm mud on the ground. The moon might shine on the mud for a moment, but it'll never belong to the mud. How long can this passion last? A month? 2? When it ends, I'll be the one hurt. My friend turned serious. Who says you're mud? You're the rising star of the conservation world. And how do you know unless you try? What if the moon wants to dive into the mud and roll around? If you keep refusing, I'll start thinking you're frigid. After lunch, she made herself scarce, shoving me toward Chase. Vance, she's yours now. I want that tea too, but I don't dare. Chase gave her a glance. Smart. I shuffled over. Chase handed me the tea, straw already punched in. 30% sugar, no ice, extra boba. Correct? I took it, warmth blooming in my chest. Thanks. Only a verbal thanks? He bent down, those gorgeous eyes pinning me. I've waited 2 hours, legs are numb. Looking at his pitiful face, a chunk of my defenses crumbled. On impulse I lifted my half-finished tea to his lips. Then, have a sip? Chase froze. Then fireworks exploded in his eyes. He didn't hesitate, he dipped his head, sealed his mouth over my straw, and took a long pull. Adam's apple bobbing. Never breaking eye contact. Sweet. No clue whether he meant the tea or something else. My face went nuclear. Was that an indirect kiss? I still ended up finishing the tea. Staring at the empty cup, Chase was elated. He naturally laced his fingers through mine. Let's go, I'll drive you home. I instinctively tried to pull back, couldn't. Vance, we're in public. So what if we hold hands? Against the law? He tilted his head, righteous. Indirect kiss didn't scare you, but holding hands does? Who indirect kissed? I bristled like a cat whose tail got stepped on. That was to avoid food waste. Chase chuckled, threaded his fingers tighter until we were palm to palm. Fine, conservation. Well, my car seat's one to save carbon. You'll cooperate, right? Me, capitalist sophistry. Unbeatable. In the passenger seat, I huddled like a quail. Chase drove, asking casually, "There's a private auction this weekend. A few bronzes are going under the hammer. I need an expert to vet them." "Oh, then hire one." I picked at the seatbelt. At that level, experts are a dime a dozen. But I only trust one. The light turned red. The car rolled to a stop. He turned, those deep eyes locked on me, voice dead serious. "Nina, come with me." "In what capacity?" I whispered. "Chief authenticator." He paused, wicked grin flashing, "or future Vance." "I pick authenticator." "Deal." Chase hit the gas. "Saturday it is. I'll pick you up." Saturday, I got up early, planning to dress professional. The moment I opened the door, Chase's money-wielding assistant stood there hugging a giant box. "Whitaker, Vance prepared, your work uniform." Wrinkles folded his smile. I opened it, good grief. "This is a work uniform?" It's a pale aqua gown, clean cut, but the fabric ripples like water under the sun, obviously couture. Even came with matching flats. "Card attached, you'll be on your feet." "These are comfy. Another corner of my heart caved in. The man always finds the exact crack in my armor through the tiniest detail. I changed and went downstairs. Chase leaned against the car, unlit cigarette between his fingers. When he saw me, those usually cool, impatient eyes lit like thawing ice. "Looks good." Brief words, then he opened the door, hand naturally shielding the roof so I wouldn't bump my head. "Thanks. Don't mention it." He bent to my ear, voice low, "Today you're my eyes. Gotta take care of you." Warm breath on my ear, my face burned as I scrambled inside. Heartbeat, off rhythm again. The auction venue dazzled, perfumed glamour, luxury cars everywhere. I trailed Chase, striving for expert composure. But the feeling of not belonging surged like a tide. Around us, faces frequent in finance magazines and tabloids, all elegant laughter. And me, someone who spends her days with dirt and bronze disease. "Relax." Chase sensed my stiffness, the hand that had been in his pocket slipped out to circle my wrist. Not hand-holding, reassuring pressure. "With me here, no one will look down on you." His promise steadied me a little. Inside, several business moguls dragged Chase into small talk. I gestured for him to go ahead and drifted to the display cases, peering at the bronzes through the glass. "Well, if it isn't Chase's little date?" A sharp female voice sliced in from behind. I turned. A woman in a scarlet plunging gown, makeup flawless, eyes dripping undisguised hostility. I recognized her. One of those Valentinas, she trended online after a rumored fling with Chase, though his team had killed the story in minutes. "All alone? Chase finally dumped you?" She looked me up and down, smirked. "Dressing the part, I'll give you that. Too bad those hands scream manual labor." She tapped a manicured finger at my slightly calloused palms. "Someone like you really thinks you belong here?" The trust fund chorus around her giggled behind raised wrists. I glanced at my hands myself. No shame, just amusement. I was about to fire something back when a voice sliced through the warm air. "What about her hands?" The room froze. Chase had materialized. His face was dark, the aura of a man born to command now crackling loose. The actress's smirk evaporated. "Vance, I I was only joking with this lady. A joke? Chase's laugh was arctic. He strode over, caught my hand, not the courteous graze from before, laced our fingers, and lifted the knot of our hands above our heads for everyone to see. You say these hands do rough work? His gaze raked the crowd like a blade, then pinned her. I say they're the most priceless on earth. Anyone disagree? Silence fell like a dropped chandelier. I stared at his profile, clenched jaw, unflinching eyes, protectiveness blazing bare. Everything I'd stacked between us, moon and mud, pedigree and gutter, collapsed in one breath. In his eyes I wasn't dirt, I was treasure. Valentina's tears welled, she fled with her face in her hands. Chase turned. The thunder in him vanished. He bent close, voice soft enough to wring water from air. Scared? I shook my head, throat hot. No, after the auction he didn't head straight for the car. He lowered the window, lit a cigarette, took one drag, killed it. Nina. What I said in there, scripted for no one. Dim cabin light carved the lines of his face. I meant it. You're the most valuable thing I've ever stood next to. Huh? A self-mocking smile tugged at his mouth. I was born on third base, spent my life counting zeros. Boardrooms, balance sheets, empty calories. But you stand still in a loud world and piece broken centuries back together. You carry a quiet I envy. So stop hiding from me, stop weighing yourself on their scale. If anyone's punching up here, it's me trying to reach you. Give me a title, deal? I studied the man feared by markets, asking like a boy afraid of rejection. Stella was right all along, if the moon wants to land in your puddle, you catch it. I inhaled, found my voice. Chase. Yeah. Title negotiable. I took his phone, opened our long-dead chat, changed the WhatsApp nudge suffix right in front of him. I nudged Chase's head and told him to behave. Then tapped him twice. The banner popped up. He stared a beat, then laughed, a low rumble that shook his ribs. Deal. He hooked an arm around my neck, forehead to forehead, nose brushing mine. I'm all yours, girlfriend. Dating Chase, I learned, was loud. He insists on chauffeuring me to the conservation lab, sealing the ride with a soap opera forehead kiss that forces me to sneak in wearing a mask. Lately, my coworkers are merciless. And he's clingy. If I'm not working late, he's idling outside at 5 sharp. When I do burn midnight oil, he brings omakase for the entire department. Even my mentor has defected. Little Nina, young Vance seems fierce but he's thoughtful. He's sending me an ergonomic chair. Professor, a couple of chairs bought you? Peak absurdity. 1 week I was wrestling with a complicated vessel, stress-popping zits. Chase studied the constellation on my forehead as though it threatened national security. Next afternoon a famed dermatologist arrived at one court. Vance, I treat autoimmune crises, not pimples. Chase, stone-faced, can you flatten it or not? Doctor, yes. I hid behind a sofa cushion, plotting an escape rocket. Of course, chaos strikes in public. Stella's birthday rolls around, same VIP salon, same band of heirs. I bring Chase as +1. We step inside, the whole room snaps upright. Chi bro. Sis-in-law. Mafia vibes, mortifying. After rounds of shots, truth or dare starts. Tonight's spinner is rigged, no one dares aim at Chase or me. The needle limps round and lands, absurdly, on him. Truth or dare? Stella squeaks. Chase lounges, toying with my fingers. Truth. She pounces, bro, was it love at first sight during that engagement dinner? Ears perk like radar dishes. I'm curious myself. He side-eyes me, smirk lethal. Nope. Gasps, I blink. When then? Earlier, he drawls. Emergency light blown, stairwell pitch black. Cartoon pajamas, bird nest hair, she body checked me reaching for her takeout. I thought, who's this adorable catastrophe? My brain short circuits. That was our actual meet cute. I'd been too mortified and it too dark to register his face, only his frosty hit and run. Yet he'd already archived me. Later, same private club, he keeps going, she didn't recognize me but ordered me, her 20 grand bodyguard, to pour water. Figured if she mistakes billionaires for hired help, I'd better lock that down before she collects more. Room explodes, Stella slaps the sofa howling. I die 1,000 deaths. So, long before the spotlight, the hunter had stretched the net. I just bunny hopped inside. And just when I think peak humiliation is behind me, Chase rises. He straightens his collar, smile gone solemn. Music cuts, lights dim until one spotlight pins him. He pulls a velvet box. Kneels. Nina. I stammer, what? This part of dare? Not a dare, premeditated. He flicks the lid. A pink diamond stares up, larger than the one in the bracelet. 20 grand for an escort, service window too short. He lifts his gaze, Starfield's inside it. I'm applying for renewal. Lifetime contract. Paycheck deposited, chores covered, even if you request stars I'll haul them down. Will you hire me? All around us, say yes. Say yes. Tears blur the room. I sniff, extend my hand. Then behave. And keep my glass full. Chase grins, boy who's won every galaxy, slides the ring home, kisses my knuckles. Command accepted, employer. Your bodyguard. Your man. Exclusively yours. Till the last light. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our story today? If you enjoyed, please like and share with friends. We can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.